Hello and welcome back to our DeVlog episodes. My name is Matias. I'm back again with
Yeah.
Dreamloop, and this is Ville.
Yeah, actually,
As you
this is not Tommy who had a transformation. It's actually a new guy, but also an old guy because Matias was with us when we were making Stardust Galaxy Warriors. If you watched our devlogs for that, which God have mercy on your soul if you did, but if you did, you will be familiar. If not,
Yeah.
yeah, he's our new vlog dude, and he's also our music and audio dude. He's also the dude who composed the soundtrack of SGW.
Yeah, I'm the composer, and actually, I'm right now in the middle of working on some new songs, which are coming for the new DLC
Yeah.
for Stardust Galaxy Warriors.
Yeah, we announced that a little bit ago on a stream, and I think those videos of that stream will be up on our channel. Maybe they are already up on our channel. This is how well I know what's going on. But regardless, yeah, we are working on a DLC. To recap, yeah, we want to have it out by summer next year. It's a little bit vague because we have so much stuff going on, so much outsourcing and stuff like that. But yeah, and along at the same time with that, we're also gonna do a free update. Basically, the way it's most likely gonna work is there's a lot of stuff in the update, and then if you are really super cool, you will buy the DLC if you want to give us money, and there will be some more content there. But we kind of want to have maybe anything that just flat out improves the existing elements of the game will be free for everyone.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've been working on that. Matias has been composing kind of like a theme song for each of the 5 mechs and 5 pilots. And those are really cool. They are all now kind of done now. You're just tweaking. And
Yeah. The structures are basically done now, and I'm going through them more and more and adding some production stuff and making the mixes actually sound decent and stuff like that. But it's actually, this has been really exciting because character themes are something that I really love about game music altogether. And this is my first opportunity to actually compose some, and it's really it's a challenge that I really love taking on. So
it's been really cool. We have these art meetings on Friday where we always go through what people have done, and it's really fun to go through what Matias has managed to compose and talk about because previously, of course, the SGW pilots, they have some personality, but it's not that clearly defined. So now we've of course had to define them, and we have to discuss, okay, what would this pilot like, and how what type of music would fit them, and it's been really cool.
And one thing that has really helped in the composition process is that, for example, Teemu has made some mood boards where you can see some pictures of reference pictures of other mechs and just photos of some people who look
like the pilot.
like the pilot should kind of look like.
Yeah.
And looking at those pictures is really beneficial. It really gets the creative motors running.
Yeah, that's of course those mood boards and such are part of the other thing that we announced that we are kind of on the side or behind the scenes or whatever working on SGW2. It's not very far along, but we are doing art direction stuff like that. So it's really cool because it allows us to kind of take stuff from there and use it to do stuff for the first game, and then these themes we can probably recycle in the second one later on down the line, stuff like that. So it's a cool process. We're now doing a lot of SGW stuff again after quite a break.
Yeah,
it's been quite an interesting journey because a lot of the code is over 2 or 3 years old, and all of us have improved tremendously, some more, some less. For me, it's because a lot of the stuff I wrote back then was just stupid, and now a lot of it is just me looking at what was I thinking? What is going on here? What is the purpose of this? Of course, some of those are things. One of the big reasons why we want to make a second game is because the first one is mostly on my behalf quite a mess. So as I think we even talked about this around Stellar Climax, that we did sort out almost all that we can. So this time around, it's gonna be more just adding content and polishing existing things rather than completely new systems or anything of the sort. Though to clarify, for example, I'm trying to actively avoid, for example, changing anything in the campaign that would make it too much different, because people like it as it is. If there's something like completely broken, but I cannot off the top of my head. There might be some bugs, for example, with certain bosses stuff like that. Those will be fixed. But other than that, we don't want to change it too much. We are focusing on the Gauntlet side of the game because it's very underutilized.
And we are also fixing some little sound polishing things, like you mentioned that there are there's enemies with very similar weapon firing sounds and stuff like that. So it's like kind of minor things from the sound side, but it's still fun that I can go back and change some of those little things that kind of went under the radar back then. So that's one thing we're doing.
And like one really interesting thing is, because of course somebody might be asking like, why are you doing this now? Why didn't you do it, for example, after release, stuff like that? Of course, there's many reasons, but one big reason is that we didn't know how successful the game would be. Now it's of course not like a massive fucking we're millionaires type of success, but it keeps selling, which justifies because if we make a DLC, we know it's gonna make enough money for example pay for me and Matias working on it probably. So that allows us to then do more stuff, and hopefully moving onwards we can then, because we sort of establish ourselves as a company, we can better guarantee that, and then we can do because I in a way one thing with Stellar Climax was also that we were just so done with it, because we had been working on it and rewriting it so many times, stuff like that we're just like never again. But then of course over time we were like, it's kind of like, it's flawed, but you still love it. It's for example, it's my baby.
Of course. I remember at the time when we were about to release the game, and everybody was really like, of course everyone had worked really hard on it, and it was like the best we could do, but everybody was really kind of burnt out at that point. We really just, like you said, we were so done with it. So that now it feels really, really great to come back to it.
And the other thing is also that now we have seen players playing it. We have seen what people do with it, because that's the other thing. I think it's especially in hindsight, it's very arrogant to assume that even if you're the designer, that you will know exactly what players are going to do and exactly what they're going to enjoy. There's going to be a lot of stuff that is unexpected. And now, sort of, as we have seen what people like doing and what people like about it, that allows us to tweak things, and that allows us to, we have a fresh outlook. Because if we had tried to do, for example, this like, hey, let's make Gauntlet more interesting or whatever, if we tried to do that around when we launched, I'm not sure if there would have been much of a change. That was what we had enough information and knowledge to make at that point. There's a lot of other stuff too, such as systems where for any aspiring game dev, like one thing is when you make systems, try not to fall in love with them. Like that's one thing, because like for example in SGW you have these enemies that they come on the screen along paths. And I was always it's easy for me to shit on that system because I didn't put that in, but it allows for some cool stuff, but it also makes timing issues, because sometimes enemies take a while to get on the screen and it breaks the flow. But you sort of, it's in there for a while. You maybe not necessarily fall in love with it, but you accept it as a fundamental part.
I can actually I can relate to this, even though I'm not a programmer or anything, but I can relate to the exact same thing when it comes to composing. One of the most refreshing feelings I can get is when I can actually finally feel that yes, now I can delete this section, because sometimes you feel like, well, this thing it works in a certain way, it's so cool, I don't want to get rid of it, but you kind of don't want to admit that it has problems, that it's actually holding back the whole thing. And finally, in my songs, when I actually get to delete something, it gives this feeling, oh yeah, now the slate is clean again, and I can actually make something new there that works a lot better than the part that was kind of cool but wasn't serving the greater purpose.
Yeah. For the DLC stuff, expect more direct stuff maybe in the future. I would really like to do stuff where we let people in a beta or an alpha and we ask people for direct feedback, stuff like that. Right now it's not, it wouldn't be true to say it's not possible, but it's not feasible because I'm doing it 1/5 of a time currently. I'm doing other stuff. This has been discussed in a previous devlog about the outsourcing and stuff like that. We're doing all that stuff. But once I have more time to fully focus on this, I would really like to also get people's opinions and stuff like that. So yeah.
Well, do you think we're done?
Oh, I think that's a solid episode of a devlog.
All right.
Yes, if I ever
See you
saw
next time.
Yeah,
then.
see you next time.